Welcome back, my friends. I hope you are all well. Have you ever wondered why English is everywhere in movies, songs, business, travel, even on your phone? Why this one language became the key to the world? Maybe you sometimes feel frustrated. Why do I need English for everything? Or maybe you dream of speaking it fluently, but you don't know how deep this language's story really goes. In this video, I'm going to tell you the incredible story of how English took over the world, not by accident, but through power, history, culture, and connection. And trust me, by the end, you'll not only understand English better, you'll feel inspired to master it. Comment below. Do you think English became powerful by luck or by purpose? I really want to know your thoughts. Chapter 1: The Seeds of Power. Where English was born. Imagine a small island, covered with fog and green fields. Long ago, there was no English there. People spoke many different tongues. Tribes came, fought, and left their words behind. That island was called Britain, and that was where English started its journey. In the beginning, English was not powerful. It was small. It was broken. It was a mix of many languages. But that is what made it special. It could grow. It could change. The first version of English was called Old English. It sounded very different from the English we speak today. It came from German tribes, who came to Britain, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. They brought their simple words, like mother water and strong. Then came the Romans. They brought Latin words. Later, the Vikings came from the north. They brought their own words too. Every time someone came, English took a piece from them. It never said no to new words. That is the secret of English. It always learns. It always grows. The people in Britain did not know they were building a world language. They were just living, fighting, farming, and trading. But their language was learning how to survive. It was learning how to adapt, and that is why, even today, English is a language of change that is never fixed. It never stops growing. Around the year 1066, something big happened. A powerful army from France invaded Britain. Their leader was William the Conqueror. He brought a new language, French. For hundreds of years, French was the language of kings and rich people. English was spoken by common people, by workers and farmers. It almost disappeared. But English did not die. It waited. It listened. It learned. It took many words from French, words like beauty, peace, power, and courage. It mixed them with its old words. That mix created something new. The English we know today was born from that fire. Do you see the magic here? English became strong because it accepted everything. It was open to new ideas, new people, new sounds. It never feared change. That is what makes it the language of the world today. Think about your own English journey. Maybe your English is not perfect yet. Maybe it is mixed with your first language. That is okay. That is how English itself began, mixed, unsure, changing every day. When you make mistakes, remember, English also made mistakes once. When you feel slow, remember English was once slow too. But it kept moving, it kept learning, it kept growing. And so can you. Learning English is not only about grammar or words. It is about learning to grow, to change, to accept, just like English did, from small villages to big empires. English started its rise here, from the mouths of farmers to the pens of kings. From the heart of Britain to the corners of the earth, the story has only begun. In the next chapter, you will see how this small island language took to the sea and started to spread across the world. It is a story of adventure, power, and connection. So stay with me, because the real journey of English has just started. Chapter 2: The Age of Empires. English set sail. The sea was calling. The island that gave birth to English was now looking beyond its shores. People in Britain began to build ships. They wanted to explore. They wanted to trade. Some wanted power. Others wanted gold. But with them, without knowing, they carried something much more powerful: their language. English began to travel. At first it went to nearby lands, then farther and farther, across oceans, across new worlds. Every time a British ship reached a new place, English went with it. In India, in Africa, in America, in Asia. But it was not only soldiers who carried English. It was also teachers, traders, and dreamers. They taught, they wrote, they built, they spoke. Some people learned English because they had to. Others learned because they wanted to. English started to become a bridge, a way to connect. But the truth is not simple. The British Empire was strong. It ruled many lands. It took control of people and their cultures. Many had to use English to survive, to work, to be heard. It was not always fair, yet even through that pain, something amazing happened. People did not just copy English. They changed it. They made it their own. In India, English began to sound Indian. In Africa, it sounded African. In America, it grew a new rhythm, a new soul. English became many voices, one language, but with many hearts. This is when English stopped being just British. It became global. Think about that for a moment. The people who once ruled the seas thought they were spreading their empire. But what they really spread was communication. They spread understanding. And in that mix of history and struggle, English began to grow faster than ever. It became the language of trade, the language of travel, the language of knowledge. It became the key to new worlds. And just like in Chapter 1, English continued to change. Every new country added new words, new meanings, new music. That is why today there is not one single English. There are many Englishes: British English, American English, Indian English, African English, and they are all beautiful. If you speak English with your accent, that is not wrong. That is history speaking through you. English belongs to everyone now. To people who learn it. To people who speak it with love. When you learn English, you are part of this story. You are joining the same journey that started hundreds of years ago. You are the new sailor. Your words are the new waves. Imagine those ships sailing through storms and darkness, never giving up. They believed there was something better on the other side. That is exactly how learning English feels sometimes. You may feel lost. You may struggle, but you keep going because you know there is a brighter side waiting for you. That is what makes your English journey powerful. You are continuing a history of courage, a history of growth. By the end of this chapter, the world had started to change. English was no longer a small island. Language, it had become the voice of an empire, and soon, the voice of a new world. In the next chapter, you will see how that new world America took English, gave it new life, and made it shine brighter than ever before. Stay with me, because the story is just getting exciting. The language that once sailed across the sea is about to conquer hearts across the world. Chapter 3: The American Dream. English gets a new home. The ships had crossed the ocean. They found a new land wide, wild, and full of dreams. That land would later be called America. Here, English started a new life. It met new people, new cultures, new hopes. It became freer. It started to sound lighter, faster, and full of energy. British English was careful and royal. American English was brave and open. It wanted to move. It wanted to grow. America was young. It was full of dreamers who believed they could change their lives. They worked hard. They built cities. They made new inventions. And everywhere they went, English was the tool they used to build their future. That is how English became the language of dreams. As America grew stronger, English grew with it. It started to appear in newspapers, on radio, and in schools all over the country. People came from every part of the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, and they brought their own words, their own voices. They all spoke English in their own way, and that mix gave English even more power. Soon, English was not just the language of one country. It became the sound of opportunity. Then something big happened. Hollywood was born. Movies began to spread around the world. People from every country watched them. They listened. They learned. They dreamed. English voices became part of their lives. Think about it. When you hear English in movies or songs, doesn't it feel familiar? Even if it's not your first language? That feeling started here. English became the language of music, the language of hope. It became the voice of freedom, of success, of imagination. Later came television, then the internet. And with each new invention, English became stronger. But this time, it was not the power of kings or armies. It was the power of stories, the power of connection. People started to learn English because they wanted to be part of something bigger. They wanted to understand the songs they loved, the movies they watched, the people they admired. That is how English became emotional. It was no longer forced on anyone. People chose it. They learned it to study, to work, to travel, to connect. And that choice made it unstoppable. You see, languages survive when people love them. And the world began to love English. But remember, English in America was not only about fame or success. It was also about struggle. Immigrants came with nothing. They worked hard to learn English. They wanted a better life. Their stories became part of the language too. Words of courage, words of pain, words of hope. That is what gives English its heart. It carries the dreams of millions who refuse to give up. When you learn English, you are walking that same road. You are learning the language of hope, of courage, of change. And that is why your English matters. Every small step you take, every word you speak, connects you to this great story. From Britain's green fields to America's golden streets, English had now become the voice of a nation that inspired the world. But its journey was not finished yet, because soon English would face a big test. A war not of guns, but of words. It would have to fight for its place among the world's great languages. In the next chapter, we will see how English won that war and became the bridge between nations. So keep watching, because the story of English is about to reach a turning point. Chapter 4: The War of Words. How English Beat the Rest. The world was changing fast. Nations were growing, new powers were rising, and with every empire came a new language. French was the language of kings and art. Spanish ruled across the oceans. Arabic was strong in science and culture. Chinese had the wisdom of thousands of years. Each one was great, each one powerful. So how did English win? It was not the strongest, it was not the oldest, but English had one secret weapon. It connected. While other languages stayed close to home, English kept traveling. It met everyone. It listened, it learned. English did not fight to destroy other languages. It learned to live with them. It took their words and made them its own. From French, it took words of beauty. From Spanish, words of adventure. From Arabic, words of science. From Indian languages, words full of color and life. Every new word made English richer, warmer, more human. During great wars, English became the language of unity. Soldiers from different countries needed one voice to understand each other. That voice was English. After wars ended, English helped rebuild the world. It became the language of peace talks, trade, and technology. It was no longer just about Britain or America. It was about everyone who used English to connect, to help, to create. That is how English began to beat the rest. Not by force, but by friendship. It did not lock others out. It invited them in. When you speak English, you are not leaving your language behind. You are opening a door to more people, more ideas, more worlds. That is the true power of English. It does not replace. It connects. Think about how you use English today. Maybe you use it to learn, to work, to dream, to make friends online. Each time you do, you are using it just like people did long ago, to build bridges. English became the bridge of the modern world. It connected science with art, business with education, one country with another. And while other languages stayed inside their borders, English broke every wall. Even now, it keeps changing. It keeps learning. It keeps growing, just like you. Every person who learns English adds something new to it. A new accent, a new idea, a new dream. That is why English is not owned by anyone. It belongs to all of us. When you speak English, you are part of something powerful and beautiful. The world's biggest family of voices. And remember this: English did not win because it was perfect. It won because it never stopped growing. That is the same rule for you. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep growing. In the next chapter, the story moves into a new world, the digital world. You will see how English entered computers, the internet, and our phones, becoming the language of the future. Stay with me, because this part will show you how English became not just a global language, but the language of the modern age. Chapter 5: The Technology Boom. English Goes Digital. The world was changing again. Machines were getting smarter. People were learning faster. And one language was right at the center of it all: English. The 1900s brought a new kind of power. It was not the power of soldiers or ships. It was the power of knowledge. Science, inventions, and technology began to shape our lives, and almost every discovery was written, explained, or shared in English. When computers were born, their first words were in English. When the internet started, its first pages were in English. When email was invented, it used English words. English quietly became the language of the future. If you wanted to code, you needed English. If you wanted to study online, you needed English. If you wanted to connect with the world, you needed English. That is how English became the language of information. Think about your phone. The apps, the buttons, the messages, most of them are in English. Not because English is better, but because it became the common language that connected the world of technology. In this digital age, English stopped being just a school subject. It became a tool, a superpower. Anyone, anywhere, could learn something new if they knew even a little English. People in small towns started to learn online. They began to talk with people in other countries. They watched videos, listened to podcasts, read books, and built dreams, all through English. English had once traveled on ships. Now, it was traveling through the internet faster than ever before. And the amazing thing, it connected people who had never met. A student in India could learn from a teacher in America. A designer in Brazil could work with a company in Japan. A gamer in Egypt could play with friends in Canada. One language made all that possible. This is where you come in. When you learn English, you are not just learning words, you are learning the language of the digital world. The language that helps you find answers, grow your career, and share your ideas. You are opening doors that were once closed. English in the digital age is not about grammar books. It is about communication, about being understood, about being connected. Even big tech companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all began in English. Their systems, their software, their knowledge, all built in English. So when you learn English today, you are learning the same language that powers your phone, your computer, your favorite apps, and even artificial intelligence. That is powerful. And the best part? The internet made learning English easier than ever. You don't need to go to a special school. You can learn right where you are by listening, reading, and practicing a little every day. English is everywhere now. It lives in your screen, your songs, your stories, and your dreams. But remember, this technology alone does not make English strong. It is the people who use it that give it life. People like you. You are part of this story. Every time you type a message, watch a video, or learn a new word, you are adding to the power of English in the digital world. From books to the internet, from classrooms to screens, English has changed the way we think, learn, and connect. And it will keep changing. It will keep growing, just like you will. Because now, English is not just the language of the past, it is the language of tomorrow. In the next chapter, we will see how English became the language of opportunity, the language that opens jobs, education, and dreams all around the world. Stay till the end, because this next part will show you why learning English can truly change your life. Chapter 6: The Language of Opportunity, English in Work and Education. Every dream begins with a door. For many people around the world, that door has one key: English. In this new world, jobs, schools, and even dreams are often written in English. When you know it, you can open almost any door. Think about it. Most big companies speak English. When people from different countries work together, they use English to share ideas. It is not because English is better. It is because everyone can meet in the middle. It is the bridge that connects workers, students, and dreamers from every corner of the earth. A person in China can sell a product to someone in Canada. A doctor in India can read new medical research from London. A student in Africa can join an online class in America. All of this happens because of one thing: English. English gives you access. It opens your world. But this is not just about work or money. It is about confidence. When you can express yourself in English, you start to believe in yourself more. You can talk to people from anywhere. You can share your story. You can understand their stories too. That is real power. Every company today looks for people who can communicate. Every school wants students who can learn globally. And English connects you to both. But here's something beautiful. You don't need perfect English to succeed. You just need brave English. English with heart. English that shows who you are. Your accent is not a problem. It's your identity. Your way of saying to the world, I belong here too. When you speak, people do not only hear your words, they hear your courage. They hear your story. Many people feel shy when they speak English. They think others will laugh. But remember, English itself once sounded strange to many people. It also grew slowly, step by step, just like you are growing now. Learning English is not a test. It is a journey. Every mistake you make is a step forward. Every new word you learn is a small victory. This language has already changed millions of lives. It has given people jobs, education, and freedom. And now, it can do the same for you. When you study English, you are not just learning how to speak, you are learning how to dream bigger, how to see the world with new eyes. Maybe one day you will use English to get your dream job. Maybe you will study in another country. Maybe you will travel and meet people who inspire you. And when that happens, you will remember this moment when you decided to keep learning. That decision is powerful. It is life-changing. English is not just a school subject. It is a skill for life. It is your voice to the world. So, keep learning. Keep growing. Keep speaking, even when it feels hard, because every word you say takes you closer to your dream. In the next chapter, we will look into the future. What will happen to English next? Will it stay on top forever, or will a new language take its place? The answer might surprise you. Stay with me, because the story of English is still being written, and you are part of it. Chapter 7. The Future. Will English stay on top? The world never stands still. It keeps changing. Every year, new languages rise, new technologies appear, and new voices speak. So the question is, will English stay on top forever? Maybe, maybe not. But the real answer is more beautiful than that. English has become more than a language. It has become a way of connecting people, a way of sharing ideas and dreams. It is not owned by any one country now. It belongs to everyone who uses it. Long ago, English was the voice of Britain. Then, it became the voice of America. Now, it is the voice of the world. And here's something powerful. The English you speak is part of that world English. It doesn't have to sound like a movie star. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Today, millions of people speak English in their own style, their own accent, their own rhythm, and that is what makes English alive. Technology is growing fast. Artificial intelligence can translate languages in seconds. Apps can teach you new words instantly. Some people say that in the future, translation tools will make English less important. But think about it. Can a machine truly feel what a human feels? Can it laugh, cry, or tell a story the way you can? No, because connection is more than translation. It's emotion. It's the sound of a real voice. It's your heart meeting another heart through words. That is what English gives you, the power to connect beyond borders. Even if machines get smarter, people will still need understanding. They will still need a common voice. And that voice will still be English. Maybe different, maybe mixed, but still alive. In the future, English will not be perfect. It will be global. It will keep changing, just like it always has. Maybe it will have more words from Asia, more style from Africa, more energy from Latin America. That is what makes it beautiful. It grows with people. You are part of that future. When you learn English today, you are helping to shape what English will sound like tomorrow. The English of the future will not come from books. It will come from people like you. Students, workers, creators, dreamers. And that means your voice matters. Your words matter. Remember, languages don't live in dictionaries. They live in people. And as long as people keep speaking English, it will never die. You are keeping it alive every time you use it to learn, to help, to share, to love. That is the real future of English. Not as a ruler, not as a winner, but as a friend, a bridge between hearts and nations. So will English stay on top? Maybe the better question is, will you stay growing with it? Because if you do, the future will always be open for you. The story of English is not ending. It is moving forward faster than ever. And the best part, you are walking beside it. In the next and final chapter, you will see how this story, how the new few, connects with your own story. Because now, it is no longer just about history. It is about you. Stay till the end. The most powerful part is coming next. Chapter 8. The Power Within You. Becoming a global voice. Now you know the story. You have seen how English was born, how it grew, how it traveled, and how it changed the world. But here's the truth. The story of English is not finished, because now it lives inside you. Every time you learn a new word, every time you try to speak, you are continuing that story. You are helping English grow. You are part of something global and beautiful. Remember where it all started. A small island, a simple language, full of mistakes and mix. It had no power at first, but it never gave up, and neither should you. English became the world's language because it kept learning. It kept adapting. It never stopped trying. That is exactly what you can do. Maybe you are learning English for your career. Maybe for travel. Maybe because you want to understand movies, music, and the world better. Whatever your reason is, it's special. It's yours. And no matter how slow your progress feels, you are still moving forward. You are growing. You are doing something powerful. When you learn English, you are not just learning words. You are learning courage. The courage to speak. The courage to connect. The courage to dream bigger than before. You see, English is more than grammar and vocabulary. It is a voice. It gives you a way to express who you are to the world. Someone in another country can hear your thoughts, understand your feelings, and share their story with you, just because you both know English. That is real power. Not the power to rule others, but the power to connect hearts. You already have that power inside you. You just need to use it. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Even native speakers make them. The important thing is that you speak, you try, you keep going. Every small effort counts. Every small practice moment matters. You are part of a family now, a global family of learners, workers, creators, and dreamers who are shaping the future through English. Look at how far you've come in this story, from old villages in Britain to the modern world of technology and opportunity. English has traveled a long way, and now that journey continues with you. Maybe one day you will teach someone else. Maybe your words will inspire another learner. Maybe your English will open a door for someone who feels afraid to try. That is how the story keeps growing, person by person, voice by voice. So don't stop now. Keep learning. Keep speaking. Keep believing in yourself. English is not just a language anymore. It is your key to the world. It is your voice in the global conversation. And remember, when you speak English, you are not just repeating words. You are joining history. You are becoming part of something bigger than yourself. You are becoming a global voice. So, take that power, use it, share it, and never forget, your English matters. Your story matters. You matter. If this video helped you see English differently, don't leave without doing one thing. Click subscribe and become part of our learning family. Press like if you learned something new today, and tell me in the comments what part of this journey inspired you the most. Because remember, every time you learn a new word, you don't just learn English. You expand your world.